Would you like to write a life-changing book that impacts people at the deepest level? And anybody you want to do business with, or somebody, if you got a product or service and you want to influence people, be able to do that all because you're an author? Now, I want to let you in on a secret. Maybe you know this and maybe it's not a secret at all, but most authors, they don't make any money from their books. Like even people that you see that's plastered all over the place, rarely do they make any money from their book. However, in this video, I'm going to show you how to not only make money from your book, but I'm also going to show you how to make $43,000 from your book on repeat. However, before I go there, the one thing that I do want to tell you, because this is something that a lot of people miss because they just don't understand the importance of value, is that when it comes to writing your book, you want to make sure that you put all of your best strategies, tactics, and processes that can really help your reader get the results that you're promising within your book. So often people feel like if I write a book and if I give everything away, then they're not going to want to work with me, or they're not going to buy my products and services and programs. And one of the most frustrating things for me is buying something and it's only half of what is needed in order to get the result. When you buy something, it's like you want to make sure that it actually delivers on its promise. And when it comes to a book, you want to lay it all out. So if somebody says like, I'm going to read this book, and they read the book from start to finish and they get everything that they need and they take action from that, that is great, because what it does is, yeah, you might not get more money right now, but what it does is you have a built-in promotional person, if you would, because they're going to tell everybody about their experience, and that person who trusts them is going to buy your book as a result of not anything that you've done, but all of the relational, built-in trust that they have for this other person because they recommended it. And that is one of the biggest benefits to making sure that you actually put out the absolute best book that you can and not withhold anything back. Because I want you to think about it like this. If that type of thinking were true, music artists would never sell any of their songs. They wouldn't, sell CDs, or now you can buy them, the Purge song. They wouldn't sell any of that, because in their mind, it's like, why would I only sell a $20 CD when I can get $100 for a concert ticket? And you think about, so many people, they have, the music playing in their car on repeat, but guess what? When their favorite artist, when an artist they like comes into town, guess who they're going to see? They're still going to see that artist. So it's not because somebody purchased, a book from you that they're not going to want to work with you directly. It's actually quite the opposite. Because sometimes people can buy a book, they can read a book, but they still desire a different type of learning. They still desire a closer proximity to the author. And it's like when you are author and somebody had a great experience with reading your book, when they get a chance to work with you, it almost has this celebrity effect that they get to work close in proximity, with the author. So it actually does quite the opposite. And so if you are somebody who you're considering writing a book, or you've already written a book, or you're going to rewrite a book you already wrote, I encourage you to put your best stuff in the book. Make sure that you are considering your reader on the other side, and make sure you're not just trying to sell partial information and forcing them to buy something else. That's not good business. And so when you actually put your best stuff in your book, give people a great experience, it's like the law of reciprocity at work. They're going to tell other people about your book, but a lot of people are also going to want to do business with you, even if it's the same exact content. Now, let's get to how to make the $43,000. So one thing that I want you to understand is when you're writing a book, you want to always consider the reader. One of the biggest mistakes that I made early on in my career was I wrote for me. It's I wrote this great book for me, but I really wasn't considering my readers because I just didn't know. And so when it comes to your readers, you want to think about, what is the biggest problem that my readers have that this book can actually solve? What kind of pain that they're in that this book can get them out of? Because the wealthiest people in the world, they just solve the biggest problems. And I'm not saying just to minimize it. I'm saying just because it's really simple. And sometimes when it comes to writing a book or building a program or coaching or whatever, sometimes we just overcomplicate it. And we overcomplicate it because so many gurus have been telling us that that if you don't work with them, that you'll never be able to do this on your own because of how complicated it is. And it's like most people, they don't realize the process. It might not be easy, but it's very, very simple. And so when it comes to writing a book, it's like you want to figure out what problem can you solve for your reader. That's one of the biggest places to start. And it's like once you have this dialed in problem that you're going to focus on for your readers, and you put as much detailed information as you possibly can to get them the desired result that your book promises and give them a great experience, what it does is it causes them to anticipate what's the next step. And for a lot of people, the next step is going to be you. So when you write this book, let's say, and again, I'm just throwing out numbers here, very, very conservative, but let's say out of a year's time, you only sell 500 books. Let's say you only sold 500 books in 12 months. Out of the 500 books, there are, let's say, a little bit less than 100 people that really want to go deeper with you, like they want to work with you. So what can you do at that point? At that point, what you could do is you could take the same exact information. Does not have to be different. You could take the same exact information and put it into some kind of coaching program. Like you can expand on it a little bit, give different points, but you can put it into a coaching program. Now, this coaching program, you can make it for 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever you want to do. Like as long as it fits in with your lifestyle and what's going to be best for you and serving them at the highest level, that's what you want to do. For some people, it takes a 12-month program. For other people, they're like, I don't want to be with that person that long. Just, if you can give me the result in 30 days or 3 months, I'll end up paying you more money. And one of the biggest mistakes that I used to make, and I've seen it countless times with other people, is that they feel like if you're going to charge a higher price, you got to stuff a whole lot of information in. And it's actually the opposite, because some people are willing to pay you more money if you can get them the result faster. So it's not about just a whole bunch of stuff. It's about how quickly can you get them the result, because money loves speed. And sometimes the quicker you can get somebody the result, the more money that they actually are willing to pay you. So how do you get to the $43,000? Out of the 500 books that you actually sold, and less than 100 people that want to work with you, you have this coaching program. And again, it can look like whatever you want it to look like. But in this coaching program, like I said, it can be a 3-month program, 6, 12-month program. But let's say on the low end, you're not really comfortable charging people a lot of money. You can charge $500 for this program. And for $500, let's say you work with somebody for, again, let's just say 6 months. You work with somebody for 6 months. And you have, 2 calls per month or something like that, or 1 call a month, and then you have video modules. Again, sky's the limit in terms of how you set it up. However, one of the things that you want to make sure you avoid is you want to avoid resenting the people that you sold to because you didn't charge them enough. People that don't charge enough, they end up resenting the people that they sold to, and it's not their fault. They didn't charge enough, and it's like they're resentful at the person because this person gave them exactly the price they asked for. And so I want to just caution you to charge a higher price, because when you charge a higher price, it causes you to have a higher expectation for yourself. Because if you're selling something for $27, you're going to show up at that level. But if you're selling something for $5 or $10 or $20,000, you're going to actually show up at that level as well. And what you do is you give people a better experience on the other side. But let's just stick, that's a totally different video, but let's stick with this. Let's say you're only charging $500. You want to make sure that whatever you charge them, that you're doubling what you give them in value, if not even more. And out of all of these people that read your book, and you're charging $500 to have this coaching program, or a course, if you will, however you want to set it up, to get to $43,000, you'd only need to sell about 7 per week. And this is in a year's time. If you sell 7 per week, it doesn't even have to be one a day. I mean, you can do all of them on Wednesday, all of them on Thursday, however you want to do it. But you sell 7 in a week, and you do this for 12 months. Guess what? The next year, you can do the exact same thing, because you think about how many people discover books that have been out for years, but it's new to them. Same thing with your book. There's going to be a lot of people that never heard of you, never heard of your book, but they hear somebody talking about it, or, you know, they read something about it, and they're like, man, this sounds like something I'm interested in. You can do this same exact thing year in and year out. And so often people feel like, isn't my book old? It might be old to you, but it's new to somebody else. If you've never heard of the book 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, that book, if I'm not mistaken, is probably, if not 20 years old, close to 20 years old. There's so many people that have never heard of that book before, and they're just discovering it, and now they're taking the training that goes with the book. That book is something that's probably a generational wealth creator for their family. Now, Stephen Covey, he's been going for a long time, like over 10 years, but that book is still making money. And once you set up a book right, it has the ability to pay you for a lifetime, if you will. Now, if you have any interest at all in writing a book, you know, I have a partner program where I actually show people how to write a book and make $21,000 from the book before they even release it. And in that partner program, either, you know, I show you how to like write a book by yourself, either we can partner together, or if you're one of those other people where you're like, look, I have this book concept, but I would love for somebody else to write it, that's also something that's possible to do as well. So if you have any interest at all in that, go to bookwritingsecrets.com. That's bookwritingsecrets.com to show you how to make $21,000 from your book before it's even released. When it comes to making $43,000 from your book, I promise you, that is a very conservative number, even though like 90+% of authors never make money from their book. And I say that because once you learn how to utilize your book, sky's the limit on how much money you can make and how you can like use it to leverage other things with it, and how you can use your book to get you like into places that other people just can't go. You know, for instance, you know, as somebody who used to travel all across the world and speak, I remember there were people that had like way more, you know, credentials than what I had, you know, in my own eyes. But because I was the author, people and organizations chose me over other people that had even more credentials than I did because I wrote the book. And when you bring authors to certain places, like, again, you don't even have to be famous or a celebrity, but there's some type of celebrity status that sometimes come when you are an author based on your book, how it is, and who's even introducing that to you. But if you have any interest at all, like, I strongly encourage you to put it out there. And here's the thing, even if you don't work with me, work with somebody, like get it out there, because the fact that you have a book in your heart, there's somebody on the other side that's waiting for the solution that only you can bring. Because your story, your perspective, and the things that you know, they need to know it. And the great thing about a book is that you write it one time, but you can get paid for it over and over and over again. But if you have any interest at all in working with me and partnering to write a book, or either I show you and work with you on how to write your own book and make $21,000 before it's even released, I want to invite you to go to bookwritingsecrets.com. And there you do have to apply, because I don't work with everybody and I can't help everybody. And so if it's a great fit, like, this is phenomenal. But I also want to be honest with you, because there are just certain topics that's just out of my realm of expertise. And I'm going to tell you that, because if it's not a great experience for you, it's not going to be a great experience for me as well. But if you have a topic where it really genuinely helps people, and you're somebody where you want to help people and you want to be financially compensated in the process, this could be a great match, and this could be something that truly serves you at the highest level. So I do want to invite you to go there and apply, and let's see if working together might be a great fit for you to finally get that book out into the world and get everything that's inside of you out and getting it to serve you at the highest level.